All right, everyone. Hello. I am here. This is the last night game, assuming, well, if Michigan makes the Big Ten championship game, that'll be a night game technically. But this is the final night game for. Well, actually, let me see if the Maryland game time has been announced yet. Nope, that might be a night game too. But I'm here, so. Michigan just had a game. Michigan just had the Purdue game, so I have to come on and do some post game coverage and reaction. Let me make sure I can see myself on YouTube. Yep, there is JJ, Roman Wilson, and the post game host. There is an ad. And there is me. All right, everyone, I'm going to play the intro. I'm going to jump in and give some post-game analysis, and then hopefully not talk too late tonight. I mean, we are getting an extra hour back due to the daylight savings, but it's been a long day, and the game just wrapped up, and I'm ready to go stretch out. So I'll see you on the other side of the intro. Go Blue. All right, everyone. Welcome back to Big Discussions 76 Sports. My name is Dr. Anwar Yusuf Dunbar. I am the owner of this channel. I am the content creator for this channel. I am a Michigan alum, and I am a proud Michigan football fan, regardless of what anyone is saying about our school and what anyone is saying about our football program. So go Blue. It's great to be a Michigan Wolverine. So tonight, the Wolverines defeated the Purdue Boilermakers 41-13 at the Big House. I initially thought I was going to go to this game about 2 months ago, but with with the inflation and personal property taxes here in Virginia and car repairs and registrations and all kinds of things, I decided that it would be best for me to watch the game from here in my living room. So that's what I did. So, the Wolverines defeated Purdue 41-13. I think I'm going to follow my typical roadmap. I'm going to read over my notes. I wasn't going to take notes initially. I was just going to sit there and have my Papa John's pizza. But then I decided, you know what? No, be consistent. Do what you always do. That's your trademark. So keep doing it. All right. So the Wolverines. Antoine, thank you for being here. Antoine was in here a couple hours ago. What time is that? 8:28. Antoine was in here early. Antoine's ready to run through a wall. Kenneth Joyce, thank you for stopping through. Everyone, please smash that like button. No matter how long you hop in and you hop out, please smash that like button. And also, shout out to Bo Lido. Please consider subscribing to the channel. Likes and subscriptions are free. If you want to donate something, the Super Chat is live, and my Cash App and PayPal are in the description box below. All right, so where are we now in this crazy season? Well, you know what the last 2 weeks have been dominated by, and at least for the time being, it seems like the university President Santa Ono, Ward Manuel, the athletic department. They've circled the wagons around Jim. When I woke up this morning, I was looking at Twitter X to see, okay, has anything come down from anywhere? Is Jim going to be banned from the game? Is anything going to happen? And so the answer was no. Jim was at the game, the team was at the game, and everybody was there to play the game. So nothing has been enforced on the team yet, though what I'm hearing is that it's probably the same thing you all are hearing. The other Big Ten coaches and institutions have been throwing hissy fits to Tony Petitti in the Big Ten to do something. Do something to Michigan. Don't let this stand. So I don't know. I don't know if Petitti will cave and do something just for appearances, but hopefully he doesn't. But apparently the Big Ten coaches and the other institutions are really, really calling for some sort of something to happen. And Coach Ryan Walters for the Purdue Boilermakers, he made some comments earlier this week, and I was wondering how the post-game handshake would go. And they caught it on camera, and it was very, 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 very short. Coach Harbaugh and Coach Walters, that was a very, very quick handshake, maybe the quickest one that I've ever seen. Anyway, let me pull this up. We have a Buckeye in here. Let me read Antoine's question first. He says, I think Moore has to learn how to dial up easy plays when JJ starts to struggle. He got to learn how to get JJ back in rhythm. Moore kept dialing up long plays. Yeah, you know what? It's a good thing. It's a good thing they called that Samaj Walker. Was that an end around or a jet sweep? I like the name jet sweep, so I'll call it a jet sweep. But it was a good thing they called that. I think that gave Michigan the breathing room it needed because JJ was clearly struggling. He took some sacks and he missed some of his receivers. Some of the balls were too high. I'm thinking about the one ball to Cornelius that was behind him. So I mean, it wasn't a complete meltdown, but that Purdue defense certainly showed up to play physical, and that Purdue defense definitely had something to prove tonight, even though they didn't get much from the offense and that Hudson Card kid. The defense really, really knuckled up, and they came to punch our offense back in the mouth. And as I was watching the game, I'm going to steal a page from Johnny here. We got the win, but I'm going to give some criticism. As I was watching the game, I was thinking, okay, what would this look like if Purdue had some semblance of a competent offense tonight? Okay, I'm not saying I don't have faith in our Wolverines over the next 3 weeks. I'm just saying tonight that Purdue defense came to put in some work, and it was the commentators said it. It was it Blackledge, Todd Blackledge, Todd Rutledge. I can never get all these names right, but they kept switching the defense from man to zone and man to zone and man to zone. So I think that confused JJ to some degree, but certainly Penn State was watching. Certainly, I mean, of the 3 games, of the 3 regular season games that are left, certainly the strongest 2 teams out of the 3 are Penn State and Ohio State. But certainly Penn State and Ohio State were watching tonight. And certainly they will work in some of what they saw on the defensive side of the ball. So at least Penn State will. I know Jim Knowles plays whatever he plays. He likes to play that what's that 3-3-5, sometimes with the zero coverage. At least James Franklin and his defensive coordinator, they're going to try to incorporate some of what they saw tonight. Let's see. Rick Van Buskirk. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to read some more comments here. Raheem Gaines says, congrats to the team up north. That team up north fans. Should be a fun game next week in Happy Valley. Should be. And we're going to get to that. I don't think anything happens in season in terms of punishment. Antoine says, unlike our past Michigan administration, I think Ono is a fighter. I think you're right, Antoine. Please smash that like button if you haven't. If you're new, please consider subscribing. And also thank you to all of my new subscribers who watched in the midst of the chaos of the last 2 weeks. Antoine says, unlike our past administration at Michigan, I think Santa Ono is a fighter. He says, just think about this. This is us struggling. That's a good point, Antoine. That's a really good point. And he says, how did you like the announcers opening up with a political hit job of Michigan? I was like, what WTF? I'm not gonna curse on YouTube. But yeah, they did lead with that. So it's gonna be interesting to see if Tony Petitti and the Big Ten cave to all the crying that's taking place from the other Big Ten coaches and the Big Ten schools. That Ryan Walters, I don't like him. He coached a good game today, but I don't like him. At least not for now. All right, let me get back to it. All right, so tonight, Michigan defeated Purdue. Michigan defeated Purdue 41-13. That score is kind of deceptive. For a good chunk of the second quarter and maybe going into that third quarter, the score was what was that? 20 to 6. I'm doing the math in my head. So for a good part of that second quarter and third quarter, the score was 20 to 6, and we were waiting for Michigan to separate itself from Purdue. But that's when they started changing up the defensive looks, and JJ was missing his receivers, and that's when that Purdue defense really clamped down. So Michigan won 41-13. I'm going to go over my notes. I'm going to go over the stats, and then I will wrap this stream up. But you guys keep letting me know what you think there in the chat. So as Antoine said, they opened up with a hit job on our maize and blue on our Wolverines. They started with the sign, the illegal scouting scandal investigation. I should stop saying scandal. It's an investigation. They started with that. Let's see, at 10 minutes and 30 seconds left in that first quarter, Blake Corum put Michigan on the board with a touchdown run that put Michigan up 7-0. With 6 minutes and 5 seconds left in that first quarter, Blake scored another touchdown run, putting Michigan up 14-0. There was a Will Johnson interception at 5 minutes and 45 seconds. James Turner kicked a field goal to put Michigan up 17-0. At that point, it looked like the Wolverines were just rolling at that point. In the second quarter, Antoine. Okay, Alex is here. You guys in that chat, you guys play nice. Antoine and Alex, I know how you guys get. All right. Let's see. In that second quarter, I wrote down there was a big Purdue completion. There weren't many tonight. There was a big set of penalties from Purdue at 10 minutes and 37 seconds. I think there was a roughing the passer. Was that a roughing the passer? And one of them tackled JJ. I think that's what it was. There was a roughing the passer, and I think one of them hit Roman after the play, and I think two of the defensive linemen slammed JJ down. So that killed Purdue's momentum. With 7 minutes and 10 seconds left, James Turner. 7 minutes and 10 seconds is late. James Turner kicked a field goal to put Michigan up 20-0. Let's see. At 5 minutes and 12 seconds, there was a special teams gaff. The ball hit a Michigan player, bounced off his back, and Purdue recovered the ball. That killed Michigan's momentum in that second quarter. It was just something that happened. It hit the back of the guy. It's not like he did that. It's not like he had a mental freeze when that happened. It just hit the back of him. That put the ball in play, and Purdue recovered it. Let's see. At 3 minutes and 52 seconds left in that second quarter, Purdue kicked the field goal to make the score Michigan 20, Purdue 3. Michigan went for it on fourth down with 2 minutes and 17 seconds in that second quarter, and they did not convert that fourth down, so Michigan turned the ball over on downs. That was another momentum killer that also helped stall the game out for Michigan a little bit. With 29 seconds left in the second quarter, Purdue got into the red zone and kicked another field goal to make the score 20-6. So Michigan, the offense really grinded to a screeching halt in that second quarter, and there was that turnover on downs, and there was that special teams miscue that contributed to that. So at halftime, it was Michigan 20-6 over Purdue. It was a comfortable lead, but the way the Purdue defense was playing, they were still close enough to make something happen if their offense could get rolling, which for the most part it didn't. So in that third quarter, in that first drive, Michigan, I think they had one first down, and then Purdue's defense shut our offense down. Let's see, at 9 minutes and 13 seconds, I wrote down there was a bad throw by JJ. I don't remember exactly what happened, but at 3 minutes and 12 seconds, Sharon Moore dialed up well, maybe me and Johnny could talk about it on Monday. That jet sweep or that end around where Samaj Morgan, they tricked the Purdue edge rusher into collapsing in towards the quarterback, and Samaj Morgan came around the end and outran the Purdue secondary. That was a big touchdown because JJ was struggling, and that put us up 27-6. So that was a really, really good play call there. Michigan didn't get that. Was at 3 minutes and 12 seconds left in the second quarter. I'm sorry, in the third quarter. It's late. 3 minutes and 12 seconds left in the third quarter, and then in the fourth quarter, at 14 minutes and 18 seconds, there was another Blake Corum touchdown run. So Blake had a pretty good game. That put Michigan up 34-6. Somewhere in that fourth quarter, J.J. McCarthy passed Tom Brady on the Michigan quarterback's all-time passing yardage. In that category, the passing yardage, J.J. passed Tom Brady. And I think he's between Tom Brady and Jim Harbaugh. I think who's number one? I think John Navarre's number one. Anyway, 4 minutes and 30 seconds, Donovan Edwards scored off of on a short touchdown run right there at the goal line that put Michigan up 41-6. And then with 18 seconds left, that Hudson Card kid threw a long touchdown pass, a fade route on Mike Sainristil, and that was Purdue's only touchdown for the game. That made the score 41-13. So Michigan was predicted to win the game by 29 points. And that last Purdue touchdown, well, that caused that prediction to not come to fruition by just 1 point. So they ended up winning the game by 28 points. But the score was a little deceptive because the game was actually closer than the final score looked. And if I don't want to be a wet blanket, fellow Michigan fans, but if Purdue was able to scrape a little more offense together in key stretches of that game, this could have been a very, very different game. That's my opinion. But let me know what you guys think there in the chat. Okay, Buckeye Alex is being gracious tonight. He says, "Good night, all. Doctor, have a great live stream." Thank you, Alex. Let's see. Okay. Antoine greeted Alex. You guys played well tonight. Alex says, just popping in to say hello, everyone. Enjoy the extra hour. Rick says, what do you think the atmosphere will be like in State College next week? Are you worried? You know what, Rick? That's a good question. I think the struggles JJ and the offense had tonight, I think it was better to have those tonight versus out in Happy Valley. Now they can look at they had those struggles, they can address them in practice, they can make adjustments, and I think they're better off going through that tonight. Now, the question is, and I'm going to end with this, and me and Johnny are going to talk about this on Monday. I'm going to jump ahead just a little bit, and then I'm going to go back to the statistics for this game. What Penn State are we going to see next week at home? Because we saw Penn State at the Horseshoe 2 weeks ago. They didn't have much offense then. They had a little more offense today here in the DMV against Maryland, but they were playing Maryland. Okay. But how well is Drew Aller going to play at home in Happy Valley? I think that's going to be, in part, the X factor for next week's game. Our defense is going to travel. Penn State has a stout defense themselves. And certainly James Franklin and his defensive coordinator, Manny something, I can't think of the guy's name. Antoine, if you know Penn State's defensive coordinator's name, put it in the chat. Certainly they were watching tonight and they said, okay, if we change up the coverages on JJ, if we rotate from zone to man, we can slow the kid down. We can confuse the kid. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see some of that at Happy Valley. But anyway, that's jumping ahead. Let me go over the stats from tonight. I see Ashwin has come in. Thank you for coming in, Ashwin. Ghost, okay, I've never seen this person before. Ghost of Sickle's Leg. The creativity on YouTube, it never ceases to amaze me. He says, okay, I see 2 seasons. I think I know where this is going. Okay, star. Last 2 seasons and this season, star. And players' records are as fraudulent as their head coach via cheating. Antoine, you want to engage this guy? All right. He says, hello all. Who's your team? He says, I do expect U of M to win out this season. Or are you one of ours? Or are you someone else's? The way with that first comment suggests that you're from one of the other fan bases and you're here trolling us. Antoine says, if Michigan is smart, they would pull a power move in private. Michigan could actually unstabilize the Big Ten if they need to. Let's see, and probably beat the dog snot of the Ohio State University. Raheem Gaines says the atmosphere will be lit in Happy Valley. Ashwin, I don't normally see you this time of night. He says the Michigan offense needs to clean things up and improve their accuracy. Manny Diaz, there you go. Thank you, Rick Van Buskirk. So James Franklin and Manny Diaz were certainly in front of the TV tonight with their popcorn, watching and thinking about how they could slow down JJ by doing something similar to what Purdue did tonight. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some of the same strategies next week that were employed tonight. All right. Let me go over the statistics. You guys keep sounding off there in the chat. All right. Again, Michigan won 41-13. The game was closer than the score would indicate. JJ, even though he struggled, he had a very productive night. He went 24 for 37 for 335 yards. The Hudson Card kid from Purdue went 12 for 28 for 144 yards and 1 touchdown and 1 interception. Again, if Purdue had more offense tonight, this would have been a very, very different game in my opinion, the way that their defense was playing. This Tracy kid from Purdue, he carried the ball 11 times for 61 yards. Blake carried the ball 15 times for 44 yards. He didn't really get any long runs, and I think that's a testament to the strength of that Purdue defense and how they played our running game. He did get 3 touchdowns, so he was productive in that regard. Receiving, this Burks kid for Purdue caught 3 receptions for 43 yards and 1 touchdown. That was at the end of the game. And Roman Wilson caught 9 balls for 143 yards. But those could have been more. There could have been more because JJ missed Roman a couple of times and he missed Cornelius a couple of times. But JJ made some good plays too. He rolled out, and then he made that completion at the sideline to Cornelius. And then he made that long completion to the other sideline to Colston Loveland. So he missed some, but he made some good throws there. He took a couple of sacks. He took a couple of hits tonight as well, which was a little scary. But he made some good plays even despite his struggles. All right, so let me go to the box score. So none of the other Michigan quarterbacks got in tonight, and I think that's a testament to the fact that the game was close, even though there was distance in terms of the score. The score wasn't far enough, and in terms of competitiveness, the game was still competitive to the point where you weren't going to put in Jack Tuttle or Jaden Denegal or Alex Orji or the other quarterback. It wasn't Bowman. Bowman transferred. Davis Warren. You weren't going to put one of the other quarterbacks in. So JJ played the majority of the game tonight. Let's see. Samaj Morgan got that big run for us. That was for 44 yards. He scored on that one. Donovan carried the ball 8 times for 21 yards and 1 touchdown. Khalil Mullings had a quiet game. He carried the ball 4 times for 20 yards. In terms of receiving, Roman caught 9 balls for 143 yards. Colston Loveland caught 4 balls for 55 yards. Donovan Edwards caught 3 balls for 41 yards. He caught a big one at the beginning of the game. Cornelius Johnson only caught 2 balls for 39 yards. Tyler Morris caught 2 balls for 27 yards. Samaj Morgan caught 2 balls for 27 yards. And Blake Corum caught 2 balls for 3 yards. I thought Donovan had more catches than that, but I'm sorry. I thought Cornelius had more catches than that, but again, JJ was throwing balls too high, and some of the balls were behind the receivers as well. Michigan had 1 fumble and lost it. Let's see. The defense pretty much smothered. The defense, for the most part, smothered the Purdue offense. And Purdue was playing with a lot of injuries tonight. They kept saying that on the broadcast, that Purdue had a lot of injured players. So we didn't see a Purdue team at its full strength. But let's see. Josiah Stewart got a half sack. Chris Jenkins got a half sack. They probably shared that one. So our defense had 1 total sack tonight. There were a lot of tackles. Braden McGregor got a tackle for a loss. Josiah Stewart got a half tackle for a loss. Mike Samer still got a half tackle for a loss. Josh Wallace got a half tackle for a loss. Chris Jenkins got a half tackle for a loss. Will Johnson got 1 interception early on in the game. At that point, I thought we were going to run away with it. Of course, we didn't. Everyone, please smash that like button if you haven't. The likes are free and they help out with the engagement. Jake Daw had a nice punt return for us. And he took a shot there from one of his teammates. One of the Purdue players ran him into into Jake Thaw. James Turner had an excellent game for us. He went 2 for 2 in field goals, and he hit all of his extra points. Tommy Dolman punted the ball 4 times for 173 yards. So now I'm going to go over the team statistics. And then I'll wrap this up shortly. So Michigan had 22 first downs. Purdue had 10. Michigan was 7 for 14 on third down. We were 0 for 1 on fourth down. Michigan generated 445 total yards to Purdue's 269. Michigan generated 335 passing yards to Purdue's 144. Michigan generated 110 rushing yards to Purdue's 125. Michigan had 1 penalty for 10 yards. Purdue had 5 penalties for 58 yards. And then Michigan, each team had a turnover. Michigan lost 1 fumble, and Michigan held the ball for 33 minutes and 54 seconds. Purdue held the ball for 26 minutes and 6 seconds. So I think, the difference in the game, Purdue didn't have much on offense for us tonight, and their defense came to play. But our team also struggled, as well as Antoine said. It was kind of an off night for our offense, and I think it was good that this happened tonight as opposed to next week. So we should have a team that's ready to go at noontime next week out in Happy Valley. Rick says, I think the Purdue coach is a good coach, but he is a bad fit for Purdue. Trying to make Purdue into Wisconsin has never worked out. It's about passing at Purdue. Is he trying to make Purdue into Wisconsin? I think he's off to a good start. That team, on defense, they came to play tonight. I didn't know. Offensively is where Purdue fell short tonight, in my opinion. Let's see. Antoine says they didn't get sacks, but they had a lot of pressure on him. That's true. Hudson Card, he was running for his life most of the night. So that's a good point, Antoine. All right. So I am going to go over some of the other scores from from today. So speaking of which, let me go back to the team stats and let me give the defense their due here, because I always focus on the sacks for the most part. Makari Page led the defense with 8 tackles. Michael Barrett had 5. Quentin Johnson had 4. Braden McGregor had 4. Junior Colson had 4. Josiah Stewart had 3. Keon Sapp had 3. Mike Sanders still had 3. Derek Moore had 2. Jalen Harrell had 2. Josh Wallace had 2. Mason Graham had 2. I'm not going to read over the rest of these, but the tackling for the scheme that Michigan runs, the tackling was very, very good. Very good. So I just wanted to go back and acknowledge that he was running for his life, the Hudson Card kid, and there weren't many sacks, but he was running for his life. Okay, let me go over the rest of the scores from today, and then I'll wrap the stream up. So the Ohio State defeated Rutgers 35-16. So they're still undefeated in their number 1 spot in the college football playoff. All right. Texas defeated Kansas State 33-30. Mississippi defeated Texas A&M 38-35. Tennessee defeated Connecticut 59-3. Clemson defeated Notre Dame 31-23. So I think Notre Dame has 3 losses now. Utah defeated Arizona State 55-3. Army defeated Air Force 23-3. Louisville defeated Virginia Tech 34-3. James Madison defeated Georgia State 42-14. Tulane defeated East Carolina 13-10. Florida State defeated Pittsburgh 24-7. Penn State, here in the DMV, Penn State defeated Maryland 51-15. Okay, so that begs the question, what Penn State team are we going to get next week at home? So they're going to be home in Happy Valley with their crowd, and Drew Aller's probably going to be very, very comfortable. So it's probably going to be a much different Penn State team than the one that went out to the Horseshoe 2 weeks ago. So Michigan had better come ready to play that game. Oklahoma State defeated Oklahoma 27-24, and I think that's going to be the last Bedlam game for a while, if I heard correctly on the broadcasts. Georgia defeated Missouri 30-21. Oregon defeated California 63-19. Kansas defeated Iowa State 28-21. Washington defeated USC 52-42. Michigan defeated Purdue 41-13. Alabama defeated LSU 42-28. Right now, I don't think Abdul Gaines is in here. Right now, Colorado is down 7-3 to Oregon State, and Arizona is beating UCLA right now 7-0. And everyone, that's pretty much all I've got. So the Wolverines are still undefeated. And now we get to see what we really have. Now we get to see what we really have. We've been talking about it all season, and now it's time for this final stretch of 3 games. Penn State, Maryland, and Ohio State is coming to the Big House. So the first big test is next Saturday at noon. Antoine says, Purdue plays with 3 trying to lose my voice here. Purdue plays with 3 down defensive tackles. Michigan should have ran to the outside more. That defense is designed to clog up the middle. You know what, Antoine? That's an excellent point, and that's probably why that Samaj Morgan run worked so well. And Antoine, that's the other thing. The in-game adjustments that certainly hurt us in the TCU game. Will Michigan be able to make the in-game adjustments as you just described? So let's see. Antoine says Michigan had a lot of slow developing run plays. They should have ran more speed outside plays with the run. Same thing. The in-game adjustments. Can Sharon Moore and that offensive coaching staff, can they adjust quickly to what the other team is doing? Or will we end up at some point in these final 3 games, will we end up with a TCU type of thing where they're waiting too long to make those adjustments? Trevor Coles has stepped in the building. He says, Michigan looked human in that third quarter. You know what, Trevor? They looked human in the second and the third quarter. The second and the third quarter. Yep. They were getting pressure. Well, they were getting some pressure on JJ, but he was missing some of his throws. But the kid isn't perfect. He's good, but he's not perfect. So he'll have off nights. Antoine says, I forget Michigan moves back to number 2, Georgia back to number 1 in the rankings. So there's the college football playoff rankings. And then there's the AP and the coaches poll. and those things. So I think in the college football playoff, Ohio State is number one, but that doesn't necessarily coincide with the AP top 25. Antoine says, so rearrange them right back to the way you found the rankings committee members. And JSE says, no way OSU should be number one. Well, they're there because of their resume, because of who they all played up to this point. And that's been one of the knocks against Michigan, is that up until now, they haven't played anybody. So, which is partially plausible. It's partially plausible. Antoine says Ohio State's going to be third or fourth. JSE says they should be number 4 at best. Notre Dame has 3 losses now. They aren't a top 25 team. He says you would think OSU IA long. I'm not sure what that means. JSE says you already see it in the media. Antoine, this is a good point. The Notre Dame win is looking like doo-doo now. Yeah, I mean, that was a big deal back then. But how strong is Notre Dame at this point? And then JSE says FSU has a better resume than Ohio State. Okay. So we have some smack for the Buckeye Nation here. Well, everyone, that's pretty much what I have. I think it was a good win. Any win is a good win. And now, it wasn't a 100% clean game. There were struggles on the offensive side of the ball for Michigan. But I think they have something to work on this week before the team goes out to Happy Valley next week. So again, it was good that this happened this week, and now they can kind of refocus. And that the team has been through a lot with all the talk of the investigation and all the speculation and all the accusations of cheating and all the slander thrown at the university and the football program. That I don't know if that affected how the team played tonight, but the team's been through a lot, and it's better for them to have had this game tonight as opposed to going out to Happy Valley next week and having this game. That's my take in particular. Antoine says, people keep saying Michigan ain't played nobody, but look at when they play the same competition as OSU, it looks dramatically different. Trevor Cole says, put Notre Dame back on your schedule and see how tough they are. Antoine says, we may have cupcakes, but we know how to eat them. So I'm going to say this really quickly. Me and Johnny will probably talk about this some more on Monday. So one of the speculations about Michigan in their last seasons and how they've done so well, you could I mean a lot of people have blamed it on the illegal scouting, but hasn't one of the criticisms of Michigan been also that our schedules have been soft the last 2 to 3 years, right? So doesn't that play a role in how well the team has done the last 2 to 3 years? The fact that the schedule has been front loaded with soft teams. I think that might have something to do with it. In addition to Jim Harbaugh reshuffling his coaching staff and settling on a quarterback, a talented quarterback that he recruited. So I think that has something to do with how well the Wolverines have done. By the way, Antoine, I was thinking the other day, the 2016 season, the JT Barrett first down season, that team started strong. Oh man, I don't know if I should speak this into existence. That team had a favorable schedule in the beginning, plowed through most of its competition, and then got to the Iowa game. That was the game where Wilton Speight broke his collarbone. So there was one loss. They eked out a win against Indiana the next week with John O'Corn at quarterback. And then we lost the JT Barrett game. But I was just thinking, I hope the result isn't similar to that season. But in terms of the makeup of the schedule, and people have been criticizing Michigan for this, it's kind of similar to that 2016 Wilton Speight team. It was favorable in the beginning, a lot of home games, and then the challenges are coming late in the season. So it's almost a mirror image of that 2016 season. Hopefully the outcome will be different. Well, we know that the Ohio State game will be in our house this year, but it's kind of a similar thing. I'm going to read a few more comments here, and then I'm going to wrap this up. JSE said JJ threw for 300 yards and 40 degrees at night. Not too bad. That's a good point. Antoine says, I got a rebuttal for the people that say it's the cheating, but look at how many coaches we have gotten from 2018 to the present. The SBD says nobody in the Big Ten can beat Michigan. Maybe that's why they're lobbying so hard for Tony Petitti and the rest of the Big Ten to do something about Michigan to disqualify them. That may be why. Antoine says McDonald, Jesse, Klink, Campbell, Herbert Moore. Killer Panda says, if we're struggling to run block on Purdue, what are we going to do against the first round edge rushers of Penn State? That's a good question. Penn State certainly has a stout defense of their own. Antoine says, and we got a few more coaching changes. Ohio State know what it is. They're just desperate not to play us. They're hoping and praying we get banned. The SBD says, Panda, Michigan will be fine. They're playing their first game after 2 weeks. Y'all chillax. JSC says, Ryan Day is scared to death of the L. See, you're conjuring up one of my Ryan Day drops here.
This is a tough team right here. We're proud to be from Ohio, and it's always been Ohio against the world, and it'll continue to be Ohio against the world. But I'll tell you what, I love those kids, and we got a tough team.
Antoine says, Ohio State is built the same way. No, let me read this one. He says, Penn State is small up front. That's why Penn State constantly blitzes to make up for a small defensive tackles. They're built to pass rush, not to fight in the trenches. Okay, well that should work in our favor then. And then Antoine says Ohio State is built the same way. JSC says Purdue's coach was the same defensive coordinator from Illinois last year. Okay, so he knows our offense then. And then he says he knew how to stop the run game a little. Okay, that's a good point. That's a good observation. All right, everyone. We are getting an hour back tonight, but it is almost midnight right now. And it's been a long day for me. I went for a nice bike ride earlier, and I'm about ready to stretch things out. But hey, the prediction show on Monday. I am doing a prediction show on Monday. And the great Johnny Olden agreed to come and sit in. So we're going to talk about the Penn State game. This is the biggest game so far on the schedule, and this game will help dictate who wins the Big Ten East. If we beat Penn State, it's going to be a 2-team race at that point between us and Ohio State. If we mess around and lose to Penn State, then it's still going to be a 3-team race. But this game on Saturday is going to have a major impact on who wins the Big Ten East, and it's Michigan's toughest test thus far this year. So let's see what they can do out there in a hostile environment against a top opponent. All right, everyone. That's all I've got. This is Big Discussion 76 Sports. My name is Dr. Anwar Yusuf Dunbar. Shout out to Bo Lytle. If you see fit, please like, share, and subscribe. Respect is earned. If you want to donate something to the channel, my Cash App and PayPal are below in the description box. Oh, Michael Burden has come in. Michael Burden, thank you for stopping through. I'm giving my ending spiel. Michael, how did you feel about tonight's game? Were you a little scared, or were you just fine throughout? Yeah, if you want to donate something to the channel, my Cash App and PayPal are in the description box. You can also leave a super thanks. The link to my newsletter is in the description box as well. I won't show that now because it's late. And I think that's all I've got. So everyone, go blue. And as always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Always try to do your best. Take care. And I will hopefully see some of you all on Monday, because Johnny, the plan is for me and Johnny to talk about the Penn State game on Monday night. And, you know, Johnny brings that passion. Johnny's probably on right now. He probably released his post-game video right now. So I'm going to go take a look at what he had to say. But we're going to huddle up and talk on Monday. Michael gave a thumbs up. So I think Michael, I think we're all happy with the outcome. But it did get a little scary at times. So, and Jay Marion says, go blue. All right, go blue to you as well. Jay Marion. And we have an Ohio State. We have one of the Ohio State trolls in here. Steve Cherry says, trash, cheaters. So here we go. We have the investigation working its way in here to the end of my live stream. All right, Steve Cherry. We will see you. We will see you in a couple of weeks at Stadium and South Main in Ann Arbor. So we'll see. All right, everyone. Have a good night, and I will talk to you all soon. Go blue. It's great to be a Michigan Wolverine. Who's got it better than us?